Hey guys, what's going on? So we have some new information about what the Braves are going to do versus the Dodgers this week. I've sort of been waiting on something for an excuse to go live, and the Braves did that for me today. They announced their pitching rotation. They made it official. We sort of knew what it was going to be, but it's Max Fried in Game 1. He will be taking on Walker Buehler. We're going to focus on that specifically in just a second. But they also announced that Ian Anderson will take over Game 2 and Kyle Wright will be in Game 3. And that's, again, sort of what we expected. We're going to focus on Game 1 in this video, though. That will take place tomorrow night at 8:08 p.m., as I'm sure all of you know. It will be in Arlington, Texas, a new venue. The Braves were, of course, in Houston over the past series, but now they will be near Dallas, right in Arlington at the home of the Texas Rangers. So this is a rematch. If you don't already know, this is a rematch of the 2018 postseason series between the Braves and the Dodgers, and it's the reason the 2018 series is kind of the reason I would think that a lot of people are skeptical of how the Braves can do versus the Dodgers in the postseason, and I understand that. Don't forget about 2018, though. Last time that these two teams faced each other, the Braves looked a lot different. For perspective here, the ace on the staff at the time who pitched Game 1 was Mike Foltynewicz. And I think we can all say that things certainly changed in his case, as well as the Braves as a whole. I'm going to get to your questions, but I'm going to focus on Game 1 real quick, and then I'll get into them a little bit later in the video. So the number one pitcher for the Dodgers, the one that's going to take Game 1 for the Dodgers in the series, is Walker Buehler. We know that. Clayton Kershaw will take Game 2. But notably, in that 2018 series versus the Braves, and he hasn't seen the Braves very much at all, Walker Buehler did not have success in Atlanta. A lot of that could be coughed up to the pressure put on a rookie in the postseason, and I get that. But he was the pitcher that proceeded to walk Sean Newcomb and then proceeded to give up a grand slam to Ronald Acuna that lost that game in that series. That was the only game the Braves won in the series, but just remember that's who's pitching Game 1, so there is history here. I'm sure we all remember the grand slam that Ronald Acuna gave the Braves and got into the history books, youngest person to do it in the postseason. I was actually at that game, so I remember it very well. The tomahawk chop was very present in that game, and I'll leave it at that. But things have now changed. Walker has grown into an ace with the Dodgers this season. He had a 3.44 ERA in 8 starts. He's been very good for them this season. The wild card here is the Braves pitching. Can they continue to do what they have done all postseason long? Max Fried was exceptional this regular season. This season he had a 2.25 ERA and he was 7-0, undefeated. He had a kind of a mediocre outing last time, but I wouldn't predict that to happen again. I mean, of course, the Dodger offense could get to him, but I wouldn't predict that with a guy that was in the Cy Young conversation. I think you have more odds to see him go 6 innings than you do to see him have another performance like he did last time. But crazier things have happened in the postseason. Can Ian Anderson continue his success in Game 2? He's been very good this postseason, especially for a rookie. He will be facing off against veteran Clayton Kershaw. And we know Kyle Wright will pitch Game 3, but we don't know who the Dodgers are even going to pitch that game because more than likely if they're up 2-0, their strategy will be different if they're down 2-0. So we don't really know what happens, especially in Game 4. I predict if he doesn't pitch before it, Bryce Wilson will take Game 4, but after that, who really knows? The strength of the Braves pitching staff, though, is the bullpen. And right now, the Dodgers have some question marks in their bullpen. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. Kenley Jansen, the closer that's been so dominant for him in years past, he has not really been very reliable. He almost gave up a 3-run lead to the Padres in Game 2 of that series. So the Braves obviously have multiple options for closers in their pen, and there's not any question marks in the bullpen. Everybody in the bullpen is pretty much reliable for the Braves. Anything can happen on any given day, but so far in the postseason, so far in the regular season, the Braves bullpen has been very reliable, and I don't know that the Dodgers can say the same thing. So at the end of the day, the Dodgers are favored, but if this Atlanta team is hot, I wouldn't bet against them. So that means the offense, that means the pitching staff, everything's got to click, but I don't think that you can just count them out. I don't think that's fair. So I think that the Braves have a chance. I hope you do too. I'm going to get to some of your comments here in a minute, and we're going to just have a conversation. So, Tej, what you saying, man? Currently watching the Falcons blow another lead. Yeah, that's why I'm in here. I didn't want to watch it. J.W. Taylor, like the Game 1 matchup for the Braves with us loving fast pitching. I agree with you. The fastball is definitely going to be to our advantage. So far, according to the stat book, it will be to our advantage. Are the rosters out yet? No, they are not. To my knowledge, they are not. They usually come out. They'll probably come out tomorrow morning, I assume. Corian, 3 things are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Kershaw choking in the playoffs. Let's just hope it's versus the Braves this year. Their closer is pulling a faulty. LA Daddy says his velocity is down and he can't locate. If we can keep it close, we'll retire that dude. I don't know that they're going to put him out there. Tell you the truth, I really don't know. The room. They asked Dave Roberts the other day, how do you feel about Kenley Jansen being a closer? And he basically said, and his body language, if you want to use his body language, he basically insinuated that he is not confident in Kenley Jansen. So I don't think they're going to put him out there. He said he hasn't made up his mind, but to me that screams no confidence. So I don't know that they're going to put him out there. They might, but I don't see it. I hope the Braves win. It will be hard, but I think we can do it. I completely agree with you. Tej, the fact that Wright had the best playoff game in the NLDS so far is amazing. Yeah, and I think that says a lot about the postseason. Anything can happen. It's not, during the regular season, everything kind of goes how it's supposed to, if that makes sense, like how it's supposed to on paper. The postseason's different. The postseason, anybody can, not to say anybody can win, but anybody can win in 7 games. Anybody can have a better 7-game series. I've mentioned Mark Lemke, I don't know how many times in these live streams. He would always do good in the postseason. There are players that always arise to the occasion. So we're going to have to wait and see if the Braves can do that. I think they can. I think they have the potential to beat the Dodgers, but they have to show up. And yeah, Kyle Wright's had a great postseason so far. Hopefully that can continue. We're going to need him if we want to go deep in the series with the Dodgers, which of course we do. We're going to need somebody like that to step up. Ronnie Redmond, the Braves carried 15 pitchers in a 5-game series. Do you look to increase the numbers of pitchers for 7? I think that's a possibility. They got some pitchers on the taxi squad right now. Kyle Muller, Mike Foltynewicz, Touki Toussaint. I believe Sean Nuka might be on there. I would increase it. If it was me, I wouldn't have Pablo Sandoval there. And I know why he's there. He is there specifically to mentor the young guys in the postseason. He's been there before. I get it. But right now, I think we do need some pitching. It wouldn't bother me either way. At the end of the day, I don't get paid the big bucks to make those kind of roster decisions. But if it was me, I would feel more confident with more pitchers, just because I think we are going to have to go deeper in a 7-game series than we did in a 5 and most certainly a 3. So I think they're progressively going to get more pitchers. Once you get to 7, it'll probably stay the same if we move into a World Series. But yeah, I would like to move it up. Not going to lie, I'm scared, but I'm not worried. That's how I feel about the series. I'm not scared. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to see how this team can compete with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are obviously the favorite to win the National League. They have been pretty much all year. I am excited for this Braves team to have the opportunity to prove itself, to show its development, even if they were to lose this series, which is a possibility. Even if they were, I think that they would be able to show some development, some extreme development, as opposed to the 2018 season, right? We know they're a better team, at least offensively. They're definitely a better team. The pitching staff, I would like to see, some better performances than that. I think versus the Dodgers is the best way to show how much we've grown. And I think that's the way we're going to do it. I would like to see them win, but no matter what, I am excited to see this series. So that's how I feel about it. I get why you're scared. It is the mighty Dodgers. I get it, but I'm not scared so much because the Braves have nothing to lose here. They would beat expectations if they beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers have everything to lose. If I was the Dodgers, I would be scared of the Braves because the Braves could embarrass you and take away your playoff spot, that you're supposedly supposed to win. At the end of the day, both teams got to show up. So, let me see. Like how the Marlins beat the Cubs. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I love Touki, but he's not making the roster. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying there's a guy that there are guys on the taxi squad, and Touki is one of them. If somebody gets hurt, that the taxi squad is who the Braves can choose from. I wouldn't mind Touki if he's got his act together. I'm not sure that's the case or not, but like I said, those are the guys on there. I would prefer to see somebody like Folty or even Kyle Muller overtook you. Somebody that's got some velocity. And the rumor is Fultzy's got velocity. Braves have nothing to lose in the game. Yep. Rumor has it that On Deck crew is at Game 3 in Arlington. What can your followers expect? Yeah, I will be at Game 3 in Arlington. I already bought the plane tickets. I already got the game tickets. Taking a couple friends of mine. We're going. I will be vlogging. I promised my friends that I would not be spending the entire trip on YouTube, but I am going to bring you guys some stuff. I am going to bring you guys some behind the scenes of the series. Maybe a Trevor Bauer-like vlog, hopping on the plane, showing you what it's like in Arlington if you've never seen it before. I have been lucky enough to go to Arlington and see that park. It is new now, but the new one is right next to the old one. So I will be vlogging for you guys. I will show you kind of what's going on, the situation with coronavirus in the postseason, how different it is. And it's the first game this year the MLB has allowed fans at. So I'm very excited for it, if you can't tell. But yeah, I will be there, and I will bring you guys some new content. And by the way, if you guys could like this video just so I could get as many viewers in here as possible, that really helps me. So just keep that in mind every time we do these live streams. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, all that good stuff. So I do appreciate it. Not one writer has mentioned Fulty for like 6 weeks. Yeah, I know that. But he's on the taxi squad. He does have a chance to make it. There is a way he can make it. And if I'm picking one guy, it's him. The guy, based on what we know, which is little, we know very little, but based on what we know, Fulty has high velocity. He's got a good slider. I wouldn't mind seeing him. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's others that I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Muller. If he's ready. Kyle Muller is a guy who we've seen this year. Not in the majors, but we did see him. He was the guy who faced off against Ian Anderson in a minor league game that was actually televised, and he pitched very well. He was comparable to Ian Anderson. I think he's on his way up sooner rather than later. I wouldn't mind it. I don't know that putting him in the postseason for the first time would be a good move, but that's why I really wouldn't mind seeing Fulty, to tell you the truth. Whose autographs are on these back here? That's for another day, man. I don't have time to go through all those. Who would be our starters if we go 4, 5, 6, or 7? If we go 6 or 7, I wouldn't mind seeing Max Fried again. Tell you the truth, on short rest, I really wouldn't mind it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. It wouldn't surprise me at that point. 4 and 5, I'm going Bryce Wilson, Huascar Noah, based on who was on the roster in the last series. But other than that, it's going to be a question mark. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a bullpen game. I hope not, because I really don't want to use the bullpen in that capacity. But it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think Newcomb is the guy. I see you down there, Justin Redmond just popped up. I don't think Newcomb is the guy. He wants to be a starter. I know that, but I just don't see it personally. Based on what we've seen out of him in years prior, he's never really turned the corner and developed. Fulty had success. And Newcomb never really got going. Fulty at least had a couple years where there were sparks, and I don't think Newcomb ever got there. I don't know that I want to throw him out into a postseason scenario just yet. Fulty, I have a different opinion about, though. If the Braves win and the Rays win, who do you think would win? I think it would be a very good series, just like I think this Dodgers series would be. I think the Braves and the Rays split a series earlier this year, and I think that would be kind of how it would go. I think the Braves can compete with anybody. I think the Rays can compete with anybody. I would predict the Rays to win the American League. The Astros have proven me wrong so far, but I would predict the Rays to win that series just on pitching, how much pitching they have. Their offense is good enough. So I would think they would beat them, and I think they faced tougher competition so far in this postseason against the Yankees. So, yeah, that's who I would predict to win the American League. And if the Braves were to make it, I think the Braves could win. I think the Rays could win. I think, again, it would be a very interesting series, and I think those two teams are very good. I think MLB would hate it just because, and I don't mean this as a knock to either team, but MLB wants the teams that have big fan bases and are marketable. And so far, they don't view the Rays as marketable. Maybe they're trying to change it. But, that team, I've been to the Rays Stadium. I don't know how many of you guys have made a trip to the Trop. They are overlooked in their town. Uh, they were in first place when I went, and the stadium was practically empty. They're begging you to come. The food prices are the best in Major League Baseball, and they're just very overlooked. So if the Braves don't make it to a World Series, I wouldn't mind the Rays winning, just to keep baseball, frankly, just to keep them in Tampa Bay, and to keep them going. But yeah, I think they're a very good team. I think they've been very successful. Blake Snell has been very good for them this year. I think they're a tough team, but I think the Braves, like I said, can compete with anybody. It's not about who's going to win. And I know when I say that, you're like, what do you mean? What I mean by that, yeah, it's about who wins, but who's going to win does not matter. We can sit here and predict all day long who's going to win. But to me, what matters is these two teams are showing up. I can show you all the details in front of you. What stats were what stats happened in the regular season? What happened? Who did what in the regular season? But once you get to the postseason, it's all about who shows up in those 7 games if you make it that far. So yeah, I think the Braves could win. I think the Rays could win. I think the Braves could beat the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers could beat the Braves. I see a lot of you guys have mentioned, like Chad Davis just mentioned, that the Dodgers have never seen Kyle and Ian before, and I believe they've only seen Max 1 or 2 times. They haven't seen him very much at all. So, yeah, I think we have a bit of an advantage there. But, again, they have to make good pitches, Kyle specifically. Ian, I'm not so much worried about. Kyle had a good outing in the last series, but they've got to make good pitches. They got to perform. And, they're facing the toughest competition we've seen in the Dodgers. They have to come in and they have to perform. The bullpen as well. The bullpen has been very good. So we're going to have to see what they do. Jesus, you're blowing me up here. Let me see. I went to my cousin's house yesterday. He had a Chipper Jones painting, official league ball full of graphs, a Braves bear, and a mini plush. But that's cool. Do you think the Braves will make the World Series? I would not bet against them. I would not bet against them. I don't think that's fair at all to bet against them. If I'm not a big betting man anyway. But if I was, I would not be confident in betting for the Dodgers. I wouldn't be confident necessarily putting my life savings on the Braves either. But to me, if the Braves can beat the Dodgers, I am very excited about them heading into a World Series. They'd be beating the toughest competition right now to be in the playoff bracket in the Dodgers, historically. And when I say historically, I mean for the past few years, the Dodgers have been dominant of the National League. It feels like every year they're in the World Series. They just can't manage to win it. I think they are the toughest team. Unfortunately, we got to face them to get to a World Series. But I think it's going to be a fun series. I think we're going to enjoy it. This is just the beginning for the Braves. The Dodgers have been here before. They're kind of, to me, on their way out in a way. Clayton Kershaw is getting older. They're having these young guys. Walker Buehler's coming up, but Kenley Jansen obviously isn't performing how he usually does. Some of these guys are getting older. The Dodger, what they grew is starting to diminish. Of course, they got Mookie Betts in the offseason, but the homegrown Dodgers are getting older. And I'm not saying they're not being successful, because obviously they are. But to me, the Braves are on the way up. The Braves are the next Dodgers, in my opinion. The Dodgers are going to be good no matter what. Basically, the Dodgers have always been good in a way. But I think the Braves are setting themselves up for a lot of success over multiple years. And I think that the Braves are setting themselves up to do that, and the Dodgers are kind of on the way out. They're living through what has made them successful in years prior, but I think that time is running out. I think the Dodgers are the toughest team. We beat them, we can beat anybody. I think the Reds were a tough team, to tell you the truth. That pitching in a 3-game series, I think if we could beat them, we can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody in a number of games. Think about in the regular season. Right? A typical regular season. Forget the 60-game mess. How many times does a team lose 3 in a row? Happens a good bit. If that happens in a postseason, you're pretty much done for, unless you're the 04 Red Sox. So anybody can beat anybody. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying anything like that. But postseason is different. It is very different than the regular season. We've seen examples like that every year. Little things become big. Anybody remember Bill Buckner? Things like that. Ground balls to first baseman become, a game saving or losing a game scenarios. everything is magnified in the postseason. So I think anybody can beat anybody in the postseason. And I know that's not necessarily, what you're going to see on MLB Network. They're going to tell you that the Dodgers are heavily favored and all this and that. And I get that. And they are heavily favored. They should be favored. But don't underestimate the Braves offense. Don't underestimate the bullpen. And right now, don't underestimate what Ian Anderson and Kyle Wright can do. If they can get hot, if they can make it click at the right time, anything can happen. And I firmly believe that. Max pitched to the Dodgers one time. Thank you for looking this up. I appreciate it. 6.0 ERA, not too bad, but Max is a different player now. I agree. Max Fried has adjusted tremendously. I mean, think about last year what we thought of Max Fried. We thought, okay, he's got good stuff, but he's got to make it click, right? Well, he's made it click. And I think he knows his position. He knows he's the guy that's got to set the tone in a series, and he's got to do that. Again, he'll be facing Walker Buehler, and Walker Buehler is another guy who's probably right there with Max Fried. It's going to be a slugfest, but, it's going to be fun to watch. At the end of the day, it's going to be fun to watch. If we beat the Dodgers, we can beat Tampa Bay. Remember, we beat them this year already. Wilson will start game 4. I agree. Darno was named the player for most RBIs in the NLDS. Yeah, absolutely. He hit 2 homers. He had a double off the wall. Yeah, he had been my MVP. We could just use our bullpen for a game, Tomlin for 2 or 3 innings, maybe, and then let our killer bullpen crush them. I agree with you. I don't know if the Braves are down a game in that situation. I don't know how confident I am in that. Not because I think they would lose that game, but I'd be worried about what happens after that game. Do you eliminate the ability to use some of those guys? I would be worried about that, but not that much. Braves win series in 5 games. I like the confidence. I do like the confidence. Jesus, thoughts on MV Free? I think he's the MVP, period. I think he's a guy who we relied on for years, and I think he's a guy that we've certainly relied on this season. And I think, I think he'll be the MVP. The stat book shows it. Everything else shows it. I've answered this question I don't know how many times on this channel, and I'll continue to answer because I don't mind doing it. Freddie Freeman is the MVP. I don't care what the voting eventually says. If Freddie Freeman's not the MVP is not valid, in my opinion. While I'm here, guys, I want you to like this video, get it out there to as many Braves fans as possible. We've had a lot of growth this year because of you guys, and I do appreciate it. So liking this video gets it out there, and that is the best thing you can do to support this channel. And, of course, subscribing as well so you can keep up to date with everything. Again, I will be going to Game 3 of this series. I will give you the behind the scenes. I'll try to do it as quick as I can, but I can't guarantee anything with the crazy schedule that I'm going to be on. I will be flying out there Wednesday, and then I'll be flying back Thursday. So it will be a crazy couple of days, but I'll try to get to you as quick as I can. But again, I will be there. I'll give you the behind the scenes. I'll tell you what's going on. Maybe do a live from the stadium, possibly. Can't promise anything, but maybe. Let me answer these last couple of questions, and then I'm probably going to get out of here. So if you have anything while I'm answering these last couple of questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll get to it too. All right, let me see. I have lots of faith in the Braves. You should. They are a very good team. Riley and Cakes need to get bats going, and I think they will. Riley's a guy who's young. He's trying to figure it out, and I think he's had better at bats this year than last year. Even though last year he had a lot more homers per capita, I think he's had a lot better at bats this year, and I think he's a guy that's really figured it out, and I think he'll continue to do so. And I think he's a guy that the Braves can count on in the future. I really do. Cakes is a guy who, Cakes kind of sets the tone for the offense in a way because he does have those good at bats, and those good at bats matter. If you have an 8-pitch at bat, think about what the next guy in the on deck circle is thinking, right? He got to see all 8 pitches right in front of him. He got to see everything this pitcher has to throw, and he got to see that, and it basically allows for the guys behind him to have success. So those guys matter. Don't forget that. I'd like to see some doubles, but Nick Markakis had a big double down the line the other day, if you don't remember. Riley's had a couple big hits, but I do agree with you stat wise, yeah. But just they've done it at the right time. Not to say that that's the only thing that matters, but they have done it at the right time. Best Braves catcher, Lopez versus McCann. I say McCann. Oh man, I kind of like Travis d'Arnaud. I grew up with Brian McCann. Javi Lopez is a guy, that won a World Series. I'll go with McCann with you. I don't mind doing that. I mean, there's guys even before Javi Lopez that were good too, but I'll go with McCann. Yeah, but Riley isn't doing. Yep, I agree. Thank you, Jesus. Appreciate it. Riley has been more patient. Absolutely, he has had better at bats. I completely agree. I have an old Dodgers jersey, and I swear I will burn it if the Braves lose. Send that video to me, and I might play it on this channel. There, Jay. Go ahead and do that. But I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys interacting with me. I always appreciate it. Again, game 1 tomorrow, 8:08 p.m. Make sure you tune in. Max Fried versus Walker Buehler. I, again, will be at game 3. I'll try to do some recaps this week. It's going to be hard after game 3. But I will try to get them to you as quick as I can. Crazy week, but I promise I'm going to have content for you. So make sure if you want to see that kind of content, again, behind the scenes at Game 3, you get to see all of the postseason magic right there in front of you from behind the scenes, from a fan's perspective. You get to see it. So make sure you subscribe to see that. Also, like this video while you're here. It gets this out to all the Braves fans that need to watch it. I do appreciate it. You guys are always so supportive. I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to read these last few comments, and then I got to get out of here, guys. Storyteller, the entire series comes down to Wright and Anderson, in my opinion. Everything else has been beautifully consistent. Completely agree. See ya. Okay, go Braves. Thanks for the stream. Yep. All right, I'm getting out of here, guys. I appreciate it. See you guys later. I will bring you some content this week. Stay tuned and go Braves.